Jennifer, yay, I'm here. And I just wanted to say hi to everyone who's joining us. We had a little thing with our fun and amazing weather up here. We were having a huge snowstorm, the biggest since I've actually lived in Asheville. So it's going to be really fun. As a Canadian, I love snow. So we had a little bit of ice earlier, and for some reason our power cut out, and so at 5:55, I'm sorry we missed you. You guys were probably all wondering where I was. And so now that I know that the power is going to be on for a little bit, I am going to do the Facebook Live now. All right, so if you're joining us late, that's fine. If you're joining us now, that's great. If you're watching this on replay, I love you. It's awesome. And any way you slice it, it's all good. Now, superpower. So I want to talk about a superpower that's one that isn't part of a human being's original 24 superpowers. We call them innate abilities. Let's back up and actually define superpowers. So I had two friends here recently, Winnie Curley and Charlotte Jones. Both of them have taken Thriving Operating System 2, and Winnie has been in flight school. And they were visiting. We had the most amazing visit, and as we were sitting around the table, one of them actually brought up one of the most amazing superpowers for human beings that we haven't talked about in our program called Innate Abilities yet. And I wanted to share it with you before anybody else. We're literally sharing this. Now, it's not to say that we haven't had this superpower before, but to be able to describe it the way I'm about to describe it is what's new. To be able to see it as we saw it today, as we were talking about it today between the three of us, was so powerful. Okay. So the question was, can I visit myself? Can my own wisdom visit myself from some other lifetime? Okay. Can I give myself a forewarning in this current lifetime from another lifetime? And the answer is yes. So first, let me tell you what a superpower is. A superpower is really a multi-dimensional ability. Okay? It's a multi-dimensional ability. Okay? Multi-dimensional abilities are different than three-dimensional abilities. Okay? Multi-dimensional abilities are actually come from the fact that we're more than 90% multidimensional, rather than the 3D part of us that has eyesight, smell, taste, touch, all of these different abilities that we're born with. And we have double-stranded DNA in order to give our body the instructions to develop these senses. Okay? When we're talking about multidimensional abilities, remember you have 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. You know, we're talking about 2s and 1s here. However, in the world of multidimensional abilities, remember you have trillions of cells. Those trillions of cells have receptor sites receiving photon packages of light with instructions and information and all sorts of stuff. It's where your intuition comes from, scientifically speaking. You're actually receiving information on a millisecond by millisecond basis, and that communication is a far more powerful communication than any translation of frequencies through your eyes or through your ears or whatever the case may be. So superpowers are basically super or above or beyond or transcend three-dimensional abilities, right? In 3D, you can only get stuff done because of effort. You have to spend time. 3D is built on time. It's built on effort. It's built on, you know, it assumes that you don't have any help from other dimensions, etc., etc., etc. So a superpower is something that is a multi-dimensional ability that transcends this three-dimensional world. And when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was in the constant question and in constant communion with consciousness because I was very, very sick, and I was getting answers and I didn't understand why I was getting them. So I wanted to make sure that I understood scientifically why it is, or what is, this ability to receive all these answers. I remember the first time that I actually felt that. I had a awakened dream, which is another superpower. So you're tapping into consciousness while you're pseudo asleep, or fully maybe awake in 3D looking, but at the same time you're experiencing, you can also be asleep and having a awakened dream, and actually experiencing a parallel dimension at the same time as you're living in 3D. And so I was having that. I was having a dream while being in 3D. I was having a dream that was about another D, and I was dancing with my guides and angels. And remember, I was a sociologist and economist with an accounting background. So it kind of freaked me out because I floated into a room in this dream. And not only that, I floated into the room, I opened the door with my mind, and I sat in front of a teacher of mine who was writing on a floating whiteboard a number that had significance to me, and told me why that number was significant to me. So that's and I knew it was real. And then I found out when I woke up, I went and talked to the significant people involved in the dream, and they all said, I can't believe that you had that dream. Literally, that's what happened, and you need to take care of X right away, the thing that showed up in your dream. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. Of course, that happens to me all day, every day now, and it's not extraordinary. So that's the thing I want you to know about superpowers. Superpowers are not extraordinary. They're not extraordinary. Every single human has the ability to transcend their three-dimensional abilities, or to marry with their multidimensional abilities, descend, not ascend ourselves, but descend the abilities from that heavenly flow into this physical body, so that you can bring that heavenly flow to earth. Those abilities allow you to experience earth as a heavenly flow, and they take away fear, and they allow you to transcend doubt, because when you can operate in this world from the space of our multidimensional alchemical selves, all of a sudden you realize that there isn't anything scary out there. You can transmute just about anything, and that's what superpowers allow you to do. That's what multidimensional abilities allow you to do. Now, in one of my weekend dreams, what I started to see is that we have, just like our DNA is coded, okay, our multidimensional superpowers also have codes. They're just not seeable in 3D, or they would give you three-dimensional powers. So we have these codes in multi-dimensions that actually allow our junk DNA and our parts of our brain, and certainly aspects of ourselves, to be able to bring through information that allow us to live both in the multi-dimensions and in 3D. And people who live that way actually live by intuition, live in a tremendous amount of flow, are able to have less sleep with more energy, because those multidimensional abilities, and I'm going to give you a few examples. Now, my request is, when it comes to multidimensional abilities, it's really important to understand that it's time to end this idea that it's only for special people. Multidimensional abilities are not for special people. Not having your multidimensional abilities sure looks like there are certain people that are special that have gifts, but in fact, those aren't gifts. That's why I call them innate abilities. They're innate to human beings. And when we're told that God is out there and we're down here, God is all that there is. Creation is all. And so we are three-dimensional expressions of the all, bringing some of the really cool abilities that the all has available through 3D into our lives, so that we can build metaphysical bridges that transcend all the dimensions and actually cause huge change in 3D. For instance, Jesus did that all the time. He brought through abilities of healing. He's a perfect example of someone that utilized a lot of his innate abilities. But even as Jesus taught, we all are made in that image. We all can actually do all of that and more. So let's get, there's so much more to say about it. We teach a whole program on it called Innate Abilities. And in fact, sometime in March, we're going to be teaching a course, and it's free to everyone. Anyone who buys my book we're going to do a whole 3 hours on innate abilities in March. So if you want to join that program, and we talk a little bit more about the physics of it and the science of it, you could go to thewideawakening.com/unstuck, just register, and I'll tell you all about it on the 3rd of February. So, but anyways, let's talk about the ability that I shared with my friends. So we're sitting at the table, and this ability is not a new ability. It's one of the ones, however, that is happening more and more, because the more polarity in the world, the more we're asking for help, the kind of help that needs to transcend what we've learned from TV or from books. We need help from a level of our wisdom that the 3-dimensional wisdom that we have is too slow. The kinds of things that we're asking for right now to literally stop people from fighting or stop the division or, not be affected by the polarity in the world, which is so hard right now because we're all immersed in a soup of the majority of people being very skeptical and cynical and complainy. And so that soup is all around us. It really, we're immersed in it right now. So it takes a huge amount of consciousness to remain transcendent or above the din and the density. And because we're being perturbated, basically we're being inundated with every sort of, we're being inundated with environmental, health, vaccine, political, economic, all of these arguments everyone's making on every side of the equation, which I hope you know by now how I feel about sideism. Not really interested in that. I'm interested in what the sideism births, and that we're all able to catch up to the solutions and the ideas that are being birthed from the sideism. And I definitely feel all the frustration from people that want to be able to do something about what's going on. UNSTUCK is a book that's in response to that, and these programs for 12 days are in response to that as well. So this superpower is also in response to the polarity. Super juicy superpower. So now come with me for a second. It's going to take some concentration. Everybody breathe. Okay. In a 3-dimensional life, we are in a time-space reality. Okay. There's a timeline. But in every moment of that timeline, like in the now, in the right now of you and I talking now, and then now, and then now, and then now, what is going on is we have now-based access to every life we've ever been in, to every personality we've ever had, to every skill set we've ever developed, to every piece of wisdom that has come from any of those past lifetimes in now and now and now. In fact, even me sharing this with you, the information that's coming, a lot of it doesn't actually, it comes through me from having talked about it cajillions of times, but it also gets added to by my presence being in the now. I'm also accessing that greater wisdom of who I am, and I'm able to, and so are you. I'm not special. You're able to actually presence yourself to each other. Even as we're talking, I can feel all of you that are here. That's an innate ability as well, to be able to transcend space and time, to actually be so present to what you're doing and what you're saying that you're both considering all non-time space reality and able to receive. That's what a channel does, by the way, able to receive something that's beyond this 3D world at the same time as being in the 3D world and being able to function even at a higher level than you usually do. But the ability that I'm talking about is being able to get answers. Oh, I didn't even finish it. Let me make sure. So I said about all your past versions of yourself and every bit of genius you've ever had. There's also trajectories and wisdom that you developed in those other lifetimes that sometimes when we bump up against something that's coming up again in this lifetime that doesn't look so hot, or it might cause trouble, or in times of great change, it's going to be even more important that you don't react the same way you did in other lifetimes. Your higher levels will come to you. Your akashic self, your past history self, will come to you in the now of your presence of sleep, for instance, to be able to question or tell you or bump up against, hey, listen, you got to listen to me. There's something that's going to happen in the next few days based on the trajectory or the direction you're going. You need to listen. So this superpower is about you being able to have your past life self come to you in this life. It gets better though. There's an add-on to this. There's a second piece of this. Come to you in this life, ask you questions, catalyze you, make you think about something. Don't try to look at it all by yourself. By the way, it also happens that this happens all the time with our clients. I get emails and messages all the time saying, Jennifer, you visited me in a dream, or you showed up, you know, I heard your voice, or da-da-da-da-da. And it's not that I'm actually going and visiting lots of people, not deliberately. But you see, my in the now self is all, I'm here to love and assist people. I'm literally here to build bridges back to you and your superpowers so that you can live above the din of the density, because the only way anything is ever going to change if we're living up here. Here's all the clouds, here's where the sun is, that's where we want to be, right? So the point is this, is that when we can actually live at that higher frequency, we have access to the solutions that are available to us in these times of great change, great catalyst. But one of the things is required is the power that I'm talking about today, which is the power. You do not have to do anything to get this power. All you need is action steps that show consciousness that you're serious about getting messages from your past self, but it's not just your past self, so just stay with me. It could be a guide, right? Could be any of those things. Get some paper and get a pen and put it beside your bed every night, like tonight, and close your eyes and allow yourself to feel the connection to your multidimensional existence and just acknowledge it and appreciate it. You don't have to ask. They will talk to you anytime you want. You're the walking intention of receiving the information you need in order to have a better life. You don't need to intend that. You literally walk around wishing for that. It's like a way that we all be. So you're the embodiment of that intention. This is not about, I need to ask better, okay? The ability to have your past self or a guide be received, all it requires is the knowledge that it's possible. A couple of action steps like putting a book and a pen beside your bed. B, C, actually before you go to bed, be future grateful for the interaction as though it's already going to happen, and just let it happen. Don't get attached. Don't be in emergency mode. Don't, there's nothing to be anxious about or like, oh my God, if I don't talk to my higher levels, I'm going to die or something's defective about me. It just is that is possible. It just is that is happening all day long. It's just you don't hear it like a voice or see it like a dream. You're being guided all day, every day. So that's one. But let me tell you the cool part of it. For me, it's really super cool. By the way, if you have watched, Arrival, I highly recommend that you watch the movie Arrival if you want to know a little bit more about if you want to get activated as to a non-time space reality and how that feels, let your cells actually feel what it feels like to be, to know what a being would be like if they didn't live in the normal time-space reality, if they actually let the future and the past be in their communication now. Powerful, powerful movie if you haven't seen it. Love you too, Sandy. So, the second piece of this, speaking of that movie, the future trajectory of you, in other words, once you take actions and have dreams and start moving in the direction of things that you've imagined, you learn things, you've taken courses. Once you start doing all of that, various futures start existing as living, like trajectories for your life start existing in multi-dimensions. So the future trajectory of possibilities that you've dreamt up actually start to exist in the multi-dimensions, and your job is actually to catch up to them rather than have to be so weighed down with trying to make them happen. They already exist, and all the ways to get there already exist. It's about becoming the person that can line up and embody and live at the frequency of the result of those dreams that you've had. Okay? So the important thing about this same superpower, which is having your greater wisdom self actually visit you in the now to give you information, also includes the future trajectory yourself that is already living out the dream that you've had, but in the now you don't experience that because you're actually having the blissed out, amazing experience of unfolding or unwrapping the gift of all of the steps. You're being a creator. A creator literally unpacks the steps to experience the unfoldment of being creator consciousness in human form, right? So in 3D. So your future trajectory self also knows what's going on and will come back to you and go, not so much. You'll feel contractive, or you'll start asking questions of yourself and thinking, where are these questions coming from? Or someone near you will ask you questions because you're not hearing the questions, and you'll think, wow, that was a really smart question. That sounds like something, I really need to hear. And it's because even your future trajectory self will come back into your dreams or into your present moment and help you to get guidance to refine, be clear on your path more now. And the more contrast there is in the world, the more your heart is called, the more urgency you feel inside, and the more that asking for it all to unfold magically will catalyze the connections to the various dimensions of you so that you can optimize your experience in this lifetime. Consciousness loves us. Every dimension adores us. Everything is happening for you and not to you. So that's a very brief version of it. My gosh, like I said, in March, we'll get you the date. Chapter 12 of our program is going to be done, of our book UNSTUCK is going to be done live. And by buying the book, you'll get the information. You'll see how to get the information to do this Innate Abilities class free. Very structured, very scientific. We'll go through the whole thing of how innate abilities work, and then we'll show you some of the latest innate abilities and even help you to embody those. So make sure you sign up at thewideawakening.com/unstuck for celebration day of our release of the book, and we'll get you some information, okay? What else do I need to tell you? Oh yes, if you're here, thank you so much, of course. If you arrived late, I just want to let you know we're having ice and snow today, and so that means that at 5:55 today we had a little problem with electricity. So, and since I'm needing it in order to do this on 2 different pages, and you cannot pre-order the book. The key is that we want everyone ordering it on the same day, which is the 3rd and the 4th, because that helps us to go number 1. But I so appreciate you asking. So many people have asked me, and I'm like, I think in our future is assisting people to get pre-orders. But right now we're not doing it that way. Come and celebrate and help us develop momentum and tell friends and read it and do. Biggest thing you guys can do is do reviews on Amazon when we do the book. As soon as you can get in there and do a review in Amazon, that would be so fabulous. Because that really helps us to get this book out into the world. All right, you guys, if you're on Agents of Awakening and you're listening here right now, Agents of Awakening was having issues tonight, so we had to do it on Facebook Live only. Tomorrow, hopefully that'll be all fixed up. Okay, so love you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 5:55 Eastern Time. God willing, we're supposed to get a foot of snow tomorrow. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? So I will let you know one way or another, even if I have to phone someone to say, oh my gosh, she can't do it tonight, but I think we should be good. It was just the ice today. So, okay, you guys, big hugs. Yes, Anne, I totally get it. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate you. Okay, you guys, if you have any questions, put them below. Soon, all the people in Agents of Awakening will have the entire Innate Abilities program. In the next 2 months, we should be able to post it. We've edited it for ease of viewing. It's one of the most powerful programs I've ever done, and we're going to be upgrading it this year. So there'll be an opportunity to actually do the entire program plus this year. I can't wait. It's like my favorite thing to teach, because it's the thing that takes us all out of fear about what's going on. Because once you see how alchemical you are and you actually embody it and have language and words for it, you will no longer be interested in dealing with the density. It's like you'll be straight on to what can we do about it. And that's the cool thing about Agents of Awakening. So I love you guys. Thank you, Joan. I'm doing my best. So, okay, you guys, big hugs. Can't wait to go skiing tomorrow. I'm going to go skiing on my road in front of me, because nobody's going to drive in their right mind, right? So, thanks, Miss Edwards. Mwah, over in Canada, too. I know it's freezing cold in Ontario right now. Okay, you guys, have a great rest of your night. Enjoy. Pass it on. See you tomorrow.